Welcome everybody. This is Becky here at Aunt Beck's Creations. I'm on 3 minutes early just so I can welcome people in as y'all are coming in and to talk just a second about the pattern. The pattern is on my community tab and I think I put it in my group on Facebook as well. It's a small pattern because this is ATC size, so 2.5 by 3.5 is going to be the pieces of fabric. Hi, Janet Burgess. So when you go to print this, you need to make sure it's not on fit to page, because what happens is it shrinks it down. And I ended up having trouble myself until Scott helped me figure out what I was doing wrong, because technology is not my thing. Okay, that's fine, Ruth. But I will say that I didn't want to waste the paper from trying to print them off. So I did make a little owl from the shrunk down versions. And here's the one I made. And it's a little tedious when it's this small, but it worked. So if you can only get a little one to print off, and I told Scott I could put a pin back on this and I could wear it as a pin. So this is just a little sample that I made ahead of time. I did not sew the eyes, beak, and wings on. I used fabric tack, this stuff by Beacon, and it worked perfect. So this is a combination sew and glue. So you can see the size difference. All right. So let's see who all is here. Scott is all spiffy, you guys. You want to see Scott all spiffy? Hang on. Here's me every day, Becky. And then spiffy Scott. Ta-da! Oh. There he is. He's got a job interview, so he's off and about.
I look like I'm ready to preach.
Not like me, but anyway.
The Lord shall smite thee.
Don't be smiting me. Love you. Long time. So Janet Burgess is here, Ruth Lamb, Melody, Gail, Pam. And I think that's everybody so far. This is his third interview with the same company. So fingers and toes are crossed. Fingers and toes are crossed. And they're all telling you good luck with your interview. So it's now noon. So if you don't have your pattern printed, it's on the community tab. If you want to, you might want to do 2 prints because you're going to use one as a paper piece. So if you want to keep one for maybe another time or whatever, you can. If you print it in color, this edge here is in blue. That's just the fabric, the piece of fabric size that you'll need. And the pattern pieces have the solid line. The eyes, the wings, and the beak are made with felt, and then the body is fabric. And what I did is I cut the pattern piece for the body out. And what you're going to do, I've already done this, so I would not have to take any time away from over here at the table. I've done all the stitching over at the sewing machine already. So you'll see on the side of the pattern here, 2 little ticks, one there and one there. Choose one, start there and sew all the way around on the solid black line until you get to the other little tick. And then you'll do a little back stitch. Always do a back stitch on either side of those marks. That keeps it from coming open on you. So see, I've already done that. And so it looks like this on the back. All right. So I don't need this pin in here anymore. Let me put this in the pin cushion, in the hedgehog. I'll bring the hedgehog over because we're going to need him to hold the other pieces down real quick. All right. So now what you're going to do after you've This is double layered fabric. So there's 2 layers here. Put them right sides together. Okay. Put them right sides together. Put your paper pattern on top of it, pin it down, and then do your stitching from one little tick opening. Do a reverse stitch and go all the way around. Do that. Then I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to bring out something to give us a more neutral background than my crazy drop paper. You don't want to cut the paper with your good scissors. These are my really good gingers. So what I'm going to do is you fold along the stitching lines on each side. Okay. So I'm on the side where the opening is not, and I'm going to trim this down to less than 1/4 of an inch away from the paper. So you want to just trim it away. Just don't cut through the paper with your fabric scissors, or you'll be sorry. It'll ruin your scissors. And then fold along the bottom. Don't worry about the little indentations right now. We'll deal with that in a minute. We're going to trim this off here. And you can see I'm leaving this much. So I'm not leaving a lot. Then on the side where you have that little opening, come out just a little bit farther away because you really do. So maybe another 1/8 of an inch wider than what you just did. And the reason for that is you want to have some fabric at your hole to tuck in. So you have something that's stable as you're trying to close it. And then just along his ears, just fold it down. I'm just getting away an even amount of fabric away. We're going to do some more trimming. You just don't want to cut through any of your stitches. And then I cover my gingers so I don't accidentally use them. Then if you fold again on your paper and really crease, you can pull it. Just be careful, because if you pull too hard, even though it's perforated, sometimes you can pull on your stitches. And do that on all 4 sides. And just, we're going to remove the paper from the outer edge. And once we get the outer edges off, we'll take the paper off the inside. If you really push on it, it weakens the paper. And since this is so small, I thought this would be the easiest way to do this, is to sew through the paper like paper piecing. And I can tell you, if you print off a small one and you end up making a tiny one, it really will help you. All right, and then just rip the middle out. The corners are a little fiddly, where you've had to square off an edge, but they come out eventually. See? Ignore Scott in the other room. He forgets I'm live. Cole is voicing his opinion too. Just work at it gently so you're not pulling on your stitches too hard. And you can just work all the paper off, because the sewing does perforate it a bit. As long as you don't break your stitches, they'll still hold it together. You just don't want to be hauling on it hard and ripping stitches out. You don't want to do that. So you end up with all this little pile of what looks like the bird's been chewing on it. If you have a bird, you know what I'm talking about. They love to chew up paper. We had parakeets at one time, long time ago. So this is fiddly, but it's worth it because he's cute when you get done. Okay. There we go. Finally got that last little bit of paper. And I'm going to be bad, and I'm just going to toss everything, even the fabric. I have so many little pieces right now. All right, so now you'll look at it, and you can see where you're going to have to do some additional trimming. Hi, Anne. I see it's really hitting like the Cape Coral area right now down there. And I told Scott, I bet his sister was glad she sold that house when she did in Cape Coral. All right. So now I'm going to trim at an angle. Don't cut through your stitches, but trim off the excess by his ears. You just don't want to cut through. And then I'm going to cut down into this indentated part, you know, cut down where his ears meet the flat of his head. And then you're going to trim it closer. So like 1/8 of an inch. Take your time and trim it down. You just don't want all this bulk where you're trying to turn it right side out. But don't cut it so close that your stitches will pull out, okay? So again, over here where it's indented for his head, trim into the point, but not through the stitches. And then trim. So you got about 1/8 of an inch and trim here. And then by his head, you can trim down to about 1/8 of an inch. So we're just trimming close. Where you have your opening to turn it, go ahead and leave the full amount, but you could clip a little bit in on either side of that to the edge of the opening, and then maybe trim a little of this bulk way on his shoulder. If I can get in there. Shut up, Cole. He wants to be with Greg, and Greg's in the kitchen. All right, so see what I'm saying? Leave it a little wider at your opening. You might actually want to get closer to either side of the opening with your little clip in so that it matches the height of the stitched area. All right, then trim off the corners. So you're basically trimming to give yourself the seam allowance you would if you had tried to sew it, but because we paper pieced, the finish will be better. I'm trying to get that last paper. And again, here we got to clip in, try not to cut through your stitches. And my stitches are a little loose there, but it'll be fine. All right, so there we go. So now we got to turn him right side out. Yeah, Ruth made a comment. If I had made my stitches closer together, it would have made the holes closer and increased the perforations. So it would have tore off a lot easier too. That is right. I should have done that. I've got, this is a stuffing tool that came with some stuffing, but you could, if you have a chopstick, you could do that. You just kind of get up here by his ear and pull the two layers apart. So you're like this, and then just kind of push part of that in like so, and then just get your turner and start pushing on that this way and push the fabric that way toward your opening until you see your turner coming out your opening here. And then I'm just kind of pushing on this And then just gently keep pulling it. The key is to be gentle. If you pull too hard, you're going to pop stitches, and you don't want to do that. I'm going to get rid of my trimmings into the trash can. I could have turned around and shoved them inside of him and used them as stuffing, and they wouldn't be in the landfill, but there's that. All right, then you can use your little chopstick or your tool or a knitting needle and just kind of work out all the little things. Remember not to push too hard at once or you'll pop your stitches. He's got another little ear over here somewhere. Oh, Cole, be quiet. And no matter what size you decide to do, if your pattern shrinks down on you, it can still be made into an owl. It's just a little bit more fiddly. And I showed my little owl at the beginning, and I will show you the comparison when I get this one done. Working till I see my stitches, and I use purple thread so I can see my stitches clearly. You see, when you push, you can see my stitches there. You don't want to push till you pop them, but you want to get it right side out. All right, so there's your little owl shape. So Anne got one of Pam's zines in Janet Young's Swap. And Carol's hanging laundry. I did all my laundry yesterday. I was feeling so good yesterday. I did the laundry. I changed the sheets, blah, 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 blah. All right, so now you need just the polyfill. And again, if you pull it apart and use little bits at a time, you'll get a better result. Now, also, if you do not want a fat owl, if you want to take and stitch this down, you don't have to stuff it if you don't want to, or you can put just a little stuffing. It's all up to you. Make the owl your own. All right. So I'm going to stick my tool in there, kind of hold the layers apart. And then I can get this started. And this tool's got a fatter end, and that helps get the stuff inside. This came with a bag of stuffing one time, long time ago. Oh, I got to get that to go inside. And I left a little hole, so I wouldn't have a great big one. Plus, there's not a lot of space anyway. So just take your time. Use your tool, your knitting needle, whatever you have. Once you get the first little bit in, it's getting that first little bit started that was my problem with the little guy. I promise it will go in. There we go. It was looking like it wasn't going to. You place the bottom of the owl on a fold. Yeah, you could do that too if you want to. Oh my God, let him in. Please. Thank you. Now that you're in, Cole, what do you want? He's the only really loud cat in the whole house. The others will meow when they're hungry or they want to go out on the porch. That one, he'll just sit there and scream. That's what it feels like he's doing anyway. I should have known better when he showed up at the cottage and just kind of walked in like he owned the place. It's like, what's up? So again, you can stuff him full and tight, or you can leave him a little flatter and turn him into a pin, or sew him to your journal scrolls. These are meant to be fun. This is our last little owl. Once I get this owl together, we're going to start a new project with our Happy Mail. And I'm going to talk about that as I'm stuffing this thing so you're not totally bored of watching me stuff. Hi, Mary. And Gail. Who else did I miss coming in? Anybody else? Janet USA is here. So again, if you have trouble getting him printed off, the key really is to make sure you don't have fit to page on, because if you have fit to page, it's going to shrink him, and you don't want it to really be much smaller. I mean, I made that other one with the smaller pattern just to see if I could do it. So it can be done, but I'll show you the size comparison. And I thought I was aiming for journal kind of charm size or a purse decoration. Oh, another thing you could do is before you turn him or before you sew him, if you put a piece of ribbon as a loop inside, it would have a loop at the top. You could have tied it to your purse. Kendra! Hi, Kendra. Yeah, the last we heard, we're only supposed to get about 2 or 3 inches of rain. So that won't be too bad here. Now, Florida is still, I think it's just their best guess. And that storm those storms have a mind of their own anyway. So, because I mean, their best guess on Hugo was that it would hit land and it would die, but it hit land and picked up speed and hit us. And that was in the 80s. And we still remember that. That was the most terrifying thing, to be this far inland and still have that high of winds. And again, I'm cheating this time. I'm not sewing his accoutrements on. I did sew some trim onto the piece of felt I'm going to use for his wings. I did this ahead of time. I just sewed some on a piece of felt, and then I'll cut his wings from that. And then I'll just glue them on, because everything's getting glued on the outside. I did use buttons for his eyes on top of the felt pieces on my little guy, and I'm going to do that again. So we'll do that once I can get him stuffed. He's not wanting to be stuffed very, very good. But I wanted to show you the struggle is real, and it will eventually go in there. So I wanted little owls this time. Come on, quit folding in, you rascal. Greg's making something. It's got my stomach growling. And I ate breakfast. Come on, get in there. Oh, I think I've got it. I think. There's that bunch. So again, stuff him as fat or as thin as you want him. I might make this one just a little bit, not so tight, just a little puffy size. This will be cat toy size. I'm sure it'll get, oh dear, Anne. If I was nearby, I'd come over and pop those windows out for you. Off that porch. what do they call the porches in Florida? Aren't those lanais down there? Well, hopefully, I'm going to go with I hope it dies before it gets to you. Oh my gosh, it's going to be a grinding 3 miles in an hour. Ugh, I'm so sorry. When they slow down like that, it just makes it all the more bad because you just have to listen to it forever. You don't think about storms and miles per hour and what the difference is when they slow down like that, because it's not the same as a storm that's moving through at 30 miles an hour. I mean, I'm sure y'all can understand what I'm trying to say. I'll have to watch because this one will get toted around. It's perfect, tiny kitten size. At least until Friday. Well, they had originally said that we would start getting rain from it sometime Friday, late Friday, Saturday morning. So that means it's probably slowed down a lot if it's not going to be leaving you until Friday. So it sounds like our weekend will probably need to be an indoor weekend. Yeah, a little catnip in here, man. It would be gladly taken and gone around the house. They'd think it was a cat toy. I think I'm almost to the point where I'm going to feel like he's got enough stuffing. I don't want him to be too fat here. Maybe a little bit more. And then we're going to sew up his stuffing hole. I have pasta fagioli left over from yesterday. I guess that'll be what I have for lunch. I think that's going to be okay. I'm going to leave this one a little, not as firmly stuffed. I think that'll do. This other corner doesn't look like it's poked all the way out. So well, maybe it is. All right, so there's my little owl. And I've got a needle threaded in here somewhere. Mary did yard work yesterday. Greg mowed our lawn for us yesterday. I'm just going to kind of whip stitch this close with a little stitch on one side, a little stitch on the other side until it's closed up. Get in there, stuffing. So anyway, the Friendship Happy Mail Journal. We're going to do that next. And what I did is I pulled out, I had a little tray that I'd been putting y'all's Happy Mail in. And I sat on the floor with some gallon-sized Ziploc bags. And I went through the Happy Mail and I divided things into the rainbow plus a bag for neutral colors. So I have a bag of red stuff, orange stuff, yellow stuff, green stuff, blue stuff, and purple stuff. And then there's a bag that's got browns and whites and grays and blacks in it. So today, I think what we'll do is we'll utilize the neutrals on every page. But today we'll focus on the red bag of stuff and see what we can come up with neutrals and reds. And I was thinking we'd work our way through and do a different color each week and use up our happy mail. And I'm going to use the journal that I was sent and I showed yesterday. And I will show you again in a little bit. So I figured what better way, a happy mail journal to hold a happy mail. And by doing collages, I will be combining y'all's happy mail. And let's see, when is October 1st? Is that, it's Saturday, isn't it? So I don't know. Is Shannon here? Did I miss Shannon? Hi, Joyce. So glad to see you. Shannon, Art Junkie, is doing a Halloween thing on Fridays. And she's going to pull a winner and give a $25 gift card, which I thought was awesome. Because, see, if you send a gift card, you don't have to pay the postage or any of that. It's just emailed to you. So that, I think, is a great idea. And that way she can give to all over the world that way. Because, you know, you can order from Amazon just about everywhere, right? All right, so I'm going to hide my thread inside my owl. I'm going to cover this side seam with his wing a little bit, so that'll take care of that business. So there's my little owl. He's just a little guy. And then here's our other pattern pieces. Howard sat on this and ripped it, so do not use your fabric scissors on paper. We need the wing. So the only reason I have this rectangle here is to show you about the size of piece of fabric. So it's a 2 by 1 1/4. So I've basically got probably a 2 by, I don't know, something. But all we need is the pattern in the middle. You don't need a seam allowance or anything. So you can cut along the black line of the actual pattern piece. And because I've decorated this one, what I will have to do is I'll have to cut one wing with the pattern right side up. And then the other wing, I'll have to turn the pattern piece face side down because, you know, it's going to be a mirrored image, right? So say I've got this one here, could lay it along this edge. And we'll put a pin in it. And because I've got this bit that's kind of fringy, if you take your pin and push that toward the middle of the pattern piece out of the way so you don't cut through it, or do your best not to cut the fringe so it comes off his wings like feathers, is what I was thinking when I put it on there. And now get your fabric scissors. And I'm just going to cut up to there. Hi, Cole. Did they make you wait too long? Is that why you're mad? You sound grumpy. Anne says she doesn't get to hear Cole very often. It's because he's usually out in the bonus room being a good boy. All right, so here's one wing. See these little wing? But now that one will go on this side because the long flat edge is what we're going to put right at the side seam, and then it'll come to the front. His wing won't go to the back this time. So that'll be a wing. So now if you take this, you want the wing to look the same. We're going to take the pattern piece and flip it over. So it's the straight edges along this other edge. And then I'll pin my pattern piece on here. And again, I'm going to try to tuck some of this so I'm not going to cut through it. That's probably about right. Move my pin out the way so I don't cut the pin. I'm just cutting along the pattern. I don't want to cut the fluffy stuff, but I do want to cut the other trim a little shorter so it's near the edge. That's good. So now there's his other wing. All right. And if you wanted to, I have this extra here. If you wanted to turn him around and give him a little tail, you could, but I'm not going to. All right. So now I don't need this wing pattern anymore or any of these little bits. So I'm just going to get them out of our way. And I'm going to put his wings on. And I'm going to do that with the fabric tack. Oh, thank you, Mary, for putting her Halloween event in there. I like to put my cover on my Ginger scissors so I don't use them for nothing, for the wrong things. So I'm going to put some of this sticky stuff on here. And the pointy bit goes toward the bottom of the owl, and the flat long side goes along your side seam. That way you'll remember not to put it upside down. All right, this is what I hate about fabric tack is it oozes. So this is the top of the wing, that's the bottom, and this is the long side. So I know it's this side. I'm just gonna line my seam up and kind of bury that under the edge of the wing and then just push it around here. And the fabric tack sticks right off. You headed off?
Mm-hmm.
Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
Love you.
Mm-hmm.
I see you when I see you.
Bye.
Bye.
Love y'all like chicken.
Love y'all like chicken. All right, so there we go. Now I'm going to do the other wing.
So she get some keys.
Yeah, some keys would be good. You got your wallet. You got your SSI in case they decide to do paperwork today. Yeah. I don't know either. All right, so again, I'm going to put this along my long edge. I want to cover my hand stitching on this side. There we go. And I just find it easier to set it down and then push it around. So there's his little wings. Ta-da! While his wings are setting up, we'll cut out his nose. We got a beak and his eyeballs. Let's get some of this so I can put the lid back on the fabric tack, because that's the one thing I hate about it is once it starts oozing, it just keeps going. So I've got this kind of orange yellow, and I'm going to do the beak out of that. We're almost done with this owl. All right, so that's the little beak pattern. It's about a 1/2 inch. The beak's only about a 1/2 inch big. So I'm just going to kind of set it on here. It doesn't have to be exact. And I will use my fabric scissors on the felt. I'm going to bring it closer to me so I don't cut myself. Uh-oh, hang on. If you need to pin it so it doesn't wiggle all over, feel free, because it's wiggling all over. Oh, now Greg's cooking something that's choking me. I don't know what he added. Oh, my Lord. Greg, what the heck? So here's his little beak. We'll stick that on there, and I'm just going to use the fabric tack again. And then his eyes look like little stop signs. And those are just the, the outer feathery parts of his eyes. I've used buttons for his eyes. And the reason I started with this is I didn't want anything wet like paint or anything that we might use on the journal page to be involved with the sewing bit. And I'm sure you understand that. I figured I'll start with the sewing bit and then we'll move on to the other. So he's coming together. I didn't get his wings real even, but he's just a little owl. It's okay. All right, so now the last piece you need is this thing that looks like a stop sign. Angie's asking if Ann has still got power. And is still with us. My goodness. Excuse you is right. My goodness. Oh. Uh-oh. I'm sorry, Angie. Didn't mean to do that. All right. Let's see, even Greg's blowing his nose. Let's set that so I can skip 2 sides of it, but I'm going to pin it. Because if you try to hold a pattern piece on felt, it wants to slide all over the place. All right. When I did the eyes on the little guy, which I'll bring the little guy back out in a minute for those that didn't get to see him, I sewed the eyes, the buttons onto the eye background before I glued them down. Good enough. So that'll go on there. And I know they look huge, but they're supposed to. They're supposed to look huge. That's not going to work there. Let's try over here. I guess I'm just going to stick it down and cut it. Scott must have forgot something. He came back in. I swear they forget I'm live and they'll burp and fart and, do man stuff. It's like, come on, guys. It's like, my word. All right. So that'll go on like so. Now, before we glue those down, I'm going to move my felt over here on my sewing table to get it out of our way. Let's pick out some eyeballs. He needs eyeballs. I have some little orange heart-shaped ones. That would be too weird. You could have big, shiny ones. But I was leaning more toward... Ooh, that would be cool. That would bring out the other. Do I have another one that color, though? I have this one. I have this one that's a darker brown. I really like that rusty orange. Y'all are probably saying, it's right there. You've passed it like 6 times. I like the back of that button better than the front of it. Well, he might have to have 2 different colored eyes. Because I don't think I have another rusty color. Let's go with those 2. Although, you know, let's at least have the same. Well, I don't know. Could have a big guy. Is there another one with just 2 holes in it? Oh, that one's smaller. I don't have 2 of anything that match. At least I'm not seeing any that match. Well, ooh, that one's cute. It's too small, though. Oh, I like that. We'll use the back sides of those 2. All right, and now because I put it on paper, I can just pour it back in the jar. Voila! Oh, and this leaf says it should be used too. Nah, go back in there. You're not going to get used. All right. So I'm going to stitch these on. With some thread. All right. Chat hasn't moved for a minute, so I'm hoping everybody's still there. Your utilities are all underground. I wish ours were, but our power gets knocked out all the time. The last bad storm we had, it twisted the line behind our garage. That was the storm that took out Greg's car, or truck. So we didn't have power for we didn't have power until that night because the crew worked overnight and they came and were in our backyard at like 11 o'clock replacing the cross member on the pole because it had twisted and snapped it right off the pole. So they were out there and they almost threw the old pole right through the roof of one of our sheds. And some other guy was like, no, there's a shed there. But when the power goes off in the south, opening the windows doesn't help anything because then all of the heat comes straight in. I'm just going to sew these on. And I'm going to go ahead and go through all the holes. Oh, now I can't find the hole. I was doing good there for a while. There we go. All right. And then I'll just go under a little bit of it, one of the stitches that's back here. Wrap this around a couple times and call it a knot. and then just snip it because it's going to get glued. You can leave a little tail. It won't hurt anything. Nobody's going to see it anyway because it'll be glued down there. So if you want to do the next project that we're going to do together today, you just need some happy mail and a journal you'd like to use as a happy mail journal. You guys, I am so happy my wrist is better. There's no swelling anymore. The redness is gone. Oh, it feels so much better. I thought about this owl all night. I was constructing owls in my sleep. I'm surprised I wasn't talking in my sleep. It's a wonder Scott didn't say, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "Oh, we could do that." And then my mind would say, "No, that'll create a problem. You can't do that." So then I'd start working on it. And it was like, I'm going to have this all figured out by tomorrow. Yep. Just tying a knot. And I keep this, my, some of my sewing needles like this in my little sewing basket on the pin cushion in the lid. And that guarantees I know where there's one that's at least threaded that I can find quickly. But if you listen, there's one inside this spool. All right. So now, whoops, we can glue his eyeballs on here and he'll be done. We can put him with our other owls that we've already made. And I'm glad I decorated his wings. I might have to add something to my little guy. And I'm still thinking of turning my little one into a pin. But I'll do that later because I thought that could be fun to pin on my shirt. So I just put a good glob of fabric tack on it. And then just squish it on there. Stinky stuff. But hey, it's permanent. It works. And you can decide how much you want his beak to show and all of that. You can change the shape of his beak if you want to. My pattern is just a guideline. And I know you guys know that you can roll with it any way you want to. All right, so there's that little owl there. And then, like I said, I made the tiny one that printed off small so you can see the size difference. And I still think he'd look cute as a pin, but I need to add some things to his wings to make him look as zhuzhed up as this one. So ta-da! Little owls. Little owls. So we made 4 owls. Well, no, I made 4 owls. You can make as many owls as you want. But together we've done this one, which Janet Baum named her Eloise. So I put it on there. This little guy still doesn't have a name. I don't have a name for him. And I don't have a name for them. So anyway, there's our owl project. You can see them. I'll put it up. Ta-da! So now if you want to do the next project, which we are at about an hour to do the owl. I don't know if that helped or not. I'm going to move some of this stuff back off from here because I definitely don't want to leave my fabric shears where we're working with paper because that's a note for disaster right there. It certainly is. And Project Dresser Girl dresses went out. My surprise went out and has been received happily. So that was nice to get word about that. And she posted about it in Facebook. I might make a couple more little owls. So the owl project is done for right now. And I hope you guys have enjoyed doing the owls. And I'll leave those. Let me grab my Happy Mail journal. From Barbara Every. And let me show you what I did. We need to back up some so that I can show you what this tub looks like. I got this little tub thrifting one time, and it has become an awesome little tool for me. All right, Mr. Owls, you have to step aside. We're moving on. So come on over here by the tissues and you can watch, okay? Y'all have to stand over here and watch now. There you go. And the thread can go back up in a minute. So here's the journal that she sent me. And there's a picture of her. So I want to make sure I'm working in the journal there, the right side up. So this is the front. I need to put a little F on here so I know that this is the front. I'll probably decorate the front too. But this is a little tray I got thrifting here. It's just a little file tray. And yesterday I went through the Happy Mail that was in this. And I have a bag that is all fabric stuff. But those will go in other projects. And I want to do something with that thing, that beaded cat. So here's my neutrals. It's all neutrally looking stuff. Black, whites, grays, browns, tans, that kind of stuff. And then here's the rainbow. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. And I did that so we can work through our journal one color at a time. So we'll utilize neutrals and reds today to do one page. Is Lena here? Hi, Lena. So we're gonna utilize these. So I was thinking we just do maybe the inside cover or the first page. And she has covered this, but you know, if you receive a journal, it's yours to use. So you can cover the whole thing, or you can leave some of this peeking out. We're just going to do a collage and work our way through. So if I did red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, red, orange, yellow. So we could work through this a couple times if we start right here. So I'm going to start on my back, the front cover. The back of the front cover is going to be page 1 for me. It is a fun, tall journal. Let me tell you how tall it is. Barbara made this for me and mailed it to me. It is about 11.5 by about 7.25 inches. So it should be fun to do. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull some of the red things out and see what we can put together. And then we'll use some neutrals to kind of pull it the last bit. So this was the red stuff. And when I say red, I mean pink and, you know, pink, mauve, all that kind of stuff. I really like this butterfly. And I think it's a sticker. I think Dee Dee sent me that. I'm sure it's a sticker. So let's separate things that are like you know, separate it by what they are real quick, just to see what we got. We got a couple butterflies. There's a rain cloud, stamps. We got hearts, flowers. And then there's like these little, and I'm not sure what these are. I think Deb sent these to me. I don't know if they're a rub-on or if they're a sticker. I hate when I can't tell because, you know, then you end up peeling the back half off and it doesn't do anything for you. Except make them at, oh, I think they are a sticker. They are stickers. So I have some little stickers like this. Got some cute little dogs. Washi tape. Some more flowers. Another little butterfly sticker. There's some drink. I like to just look and see what I have. This was a piece out of a telephone book. This would make a nice background or part of a background. So the pieces that are more like background and that kind of stuff. Now this, I've debated whether to use it or to try see if it'll still transfer, because I'd love to stitch these mushrooms. So I might pull this out and put it with my sewing stuff for a little bit and see if it'll still transfer. These are those, what are they called? Ant something stitch things. And you can just cut this out and then iron it on. And I think the little turtle's supposed to go with the mushrooms. So I'm going to set that aside. This, I'd love to use this. So that's a definite I want to use. And because of that, I don't think I'll use the Alice in Wonderland this time. This kind of has the same colors as that. So let's put those together. And I love this bee. And I think I got this maybe from Deb. Might have been from Deb. That's really too pinky. Too pinky. Too pinky. Ruth paintbrush. Too pinky. I'm just going to kind of quickly put some things together, or try to. Too red. Not enough burgundy. Decisions. Doesn't really go with the feel of the page. And I think Cheryl sent me those. And then there were sayings that were with these ladies, but I like the ladies so much that I decided to keep just the ladies and let the saying go. I love her. I'm going to keep her out. I just love her hat. And then that cat just looks, he's really ticked off. Doesn't really go with the feels. That might work. Some pieces of that. Pinks. I am getting a ton of notifications. I can't even see you guys from the number of notifications that just popped in. If I missed anybody, hey, how y'all doing? Glad you're here. Oh, I love, there's one with the queen, but it's more purpley red. Owls are cute. Now that more matches the colors I'm aiming for. And see, I like this butterfly with my colors I got going. And this one actually goes. All right. I think we're narrowing it down to where I'm going to have a page here. And I like these flowers. And this one kind of all kind of goes. No, 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 no. And I'm going to say no on those. And it's like Anne was saying, and she was doing some collage the other day. And she was talking about the importance of the white space, leaving white space. Sometimes that's a real challenge in itself. And I'm just looking. We should do a pink page across from the red page next time. Just go slow through the colors. Just looking at what I have. That kind of matches her hat, but it kind of fights with those other flowers. That's a cluster that somebody else made for me. Thank you. There's another cluster that would go on a pink page. I'm saving these little moon pieces that Kathy sent me for a Halloween project for Shannon's challenge on Fridays. All right, so now if I bring my journal back over here and I just look at what I've chosen. So I have this. I might just use this one that says Moments with the Bicycle. I like that bee with it. You guys know I like to try things out. And I think I'm going to fussy cut around her real quick. Love these flowers. And a bee. But I want something on this background. So I could use one of these. But they're kind of oriented in a different direction than I'd really like to go. And I think I want it to be more neutral. So now I'll pull out my neutral envelope. And maybe we'll cover the page with something from our neutrals to build on. I'm just peeking in here to see what I've got. That says cautionary catfish. Maybe she's a catfish. Let's see. The tie. Practical lessons. Like that on top of the paper. I'm just trying things out. Bear with me. This is very textured, so I'm not sure that's going to work. Hang on, let me get some scissors. And I can look at chat here for a second. I'm just going to fussy cut this out. So I know Ann's just trying to stay busy. And Angie's had the cable guy out. And what else is everybody else doing? Carol's doing her laundry. Oh, I hope Scott gets this job, you guys. He's bored, I think, out of his mind. He's worried about being retired. I was like, you need to just start doing stuff. So yesterday he kept himself pretty busy. But I need to make him do that every day. Go to the garage, sort some stuff, clean your room, do this, do that. That's just never been our relationship, though. We're not naggy with one another. Yeah, I think cutting her out is the best thing to do. I'm pretty sure Deb sent these to me. Deb Farrell. Her hat's cool, but boy, it's fancy. It's got lots of little ins and outs here. So this isn't going to be the greatest fussy cutting in the world, but. And Mary Lou's organizing her craft stuff. Gail, you're trying to stay warm. I don't have heat or air on right now, and it's wonderful. I'd take a couple months with not having to run any of that. Right now, no heat and air. Just have it just be comfortable. And see, I could probably just have windows open and that kind of thing, but Scott has so many allergies. He gets so sick if I try to have the windows open. Greg hasn't heard anything about his interviews. And you know, a lot of these companies, they won't notify you if they're not going to choose you. They won't let you know that they're seeking somebody else. You know, they'll just leave you hanging. So it's kind of a bummer. Especially if you feel like the interview went really well. The courtesy thing would be for them to call and say, we've decided to go with a different candidate, or we're just going to keep our options open for a little bit longer, and then give you a definite date of whether they're going to, get back with you or not, or if you're even still in the running. I wonder if I should try to cut the stuff out between her arms. Oh, okay. Have a good lunch. I'm going to get lunch when I'm finished here. Should I try for it, or should I just go for putting her down here? She looks sassy. And I can cut the train going through. All right, let's see if we can put it together. We'll see what it looks like when I end up with it. I don't know if this is going to stick to this or not because it's really textured. Let me get some glue. That's a heavy gel medium, which I might need for the... Let's see if we can just use Yes paste. Mary uses just her palette knife. And because I just don't want to, I don't want to go get the thingamabob brush. I'm gonna put my neutrals back in my tray of stuff. I have more neutral stuff I could add to this page if I wanted to. I think I'm good with this page just as it is. If I can get that paper out of my way, we'll be doing great. So I'm going to take a picture with my phone in case I forget how something looks. Then I can pull my phone out. And that doesn't mean I won't, you know, make something change places with something else. But that gives me a photo to look at. If I go, you know, off the wall too far. It'd be nice if I could just flip the whole thing. Ooh. Okay. Hmm. And all of this stuff was sent to me by you guys, or some of y'all's. Got to be careful. This paper's pretty fragile. Looks like I've missed a spot, right? Well, it's going to have to go on its own. Okay. Still think it's funny it says catfish on here. I really need a piece of wax paper or a craft mat that I clean up later. Ta-da! Ooh, that's way too much. Try that again, Becky. Kind of wish I'd looked at these words because it says happy, happy, happy on it. I don't know what the other side says. Guess we'll find out here shortly. All right, so that gives me a new base. And I don't know if the Yes paste will hold this, but we'll try. Got way too much, as always. This stuff is really textured. Okay. I think I had that like so. Hi, Barbara. I'm working in your book. I don't know if this is going to hold this piece of paper. I might have to use a wetter glue for that thick piece. We'll see. All right, now I need to look at the stuff here. Let's get a wet one. Greg wants to blow things up in the other room.
Yeah.
Take the hanger off the top of the door, too.
Cole shot out on me.
Is he outside now?
No, I brought him back in, but I thought it was funny. I was like, get back in the house. He looks at me dead in the eyes, runs to where there's that dirt patch by the doghouse, goes, and just started just rolling around. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
He's going to roll in the dirt, and you can't stop him, he said.
When I picked him up after he was done with his dirt bath, he goes, oh.
I bet he growled at you because he didn't want to get brought back in the house. All right. So now we have this sticker here that's going to go down here on this page. And Melissa's here. Hi, Melissa. Oh, the backing paper was made with sweet wrappers. We won't tell. We won't tell. See, I'm covered this one so nobody knows. That is something I have been craving really bad, you guys, is chocolate. I'm not supposed to have all that stuff, but oh my, I have been craving it so bad. I'm trying to get the sticker started. I know why Dee Dee sent these out is because they're aggravating. She said, I'll send those to somebody else. Sneaky. They're really hard to get started, but they look so pretty when you get them stuck down. And hopefully it'll stay stuck down because there's enough Yes paste on top here. So I decided I'm going to do this journal you sent me, Barbara. I'm going to use it as a Happy Mail journal. And I've divided my Happy Mail up into rainbow colors. So today we're doing red. Next, and this side will be orange and so on. So there's that. Then I need to put my lady down. And then this goes on top of her here. I almost feel like this needs to anchor her to the page. But then I need to have something right here next to her. And I do feel like we need to try to, I don't need this anymore. I don't think. Maybe I will. Yeah, I'm going to need it. I would like to try to cut this white out of here. I'm not very good at getting inside like arms and things. Yeah, Greg's playing one of the blood and gut games that they all seem to like to play. Bear with me just a sec. Let me see if I can do this without making her look horrible. You know who's really good at cutting out people and in between stuff is Packer Dye. Man, she can cut stuff out. And she'll like split open something and stick something in between the layers. And it just looks so cool when she does it. I'm like, I want to grow up to be like Packer Dye. She would laugh at that. I know she would. Haven't seen her in here in a while. I see she's still posting stuff that she's doing on Instagram. I need to check. Oh, get off. You probably have glue on your paws, you silly cat. That looks a little better without most of the white. I can't get it all. Oh, it's a real struggle. The struggle is real. And you do pretty good at fussy cutting too. All those pieces that you use are cut out really good. I need to do better at doing fussy cutting. They always say, move the paper, not the scissors. Move the paper, not the scissors. But then I whack somebody's arm off and then it's all over. And I'll sit here and in my head I'm saying, move the paper, not the scissors. Move the paper, not the scissors. And then whack, there goes her neck. You know? Just not very good at it. And her little bracelet's going to be a problem. I want this over here. So the farthest she can come over is right there. See, that's not sticking that down. Come on out. I need to fill this back up. It's lost its pressure. Okay. Now, you can take like a damp paper towel and clean up the excess of Yes paste if you get too much. All right, now I wish I had a refill for my big Xyron. Is that what it's called? My big machine, because then I could run her through and turn her into a sticker. Instead, I'm going to have to try to not rip her in half and use the Yes paste. So her butt needs to be by the words lark. Yeah, just like that. Let's see if I can do this. Mary Lou says she can't cut either. I try. I just keep trying because I keep telling myself it's practice makes perfect. Yeah. Practice also cuts off people's arms and legs and heads and all right. I don't know if she's going to stick. Butt needs to be by the word lark. Like right there. That may or may not stick. We'll see. And then this will be like she's standing behind it. Oh, wait a minute. No, it needs to be this to tie the red in. I'll have to wash my mat. The mail's nothing worth getting today. I could leave it out there a couple days at this rate. Just junk. Just junk in the mail. Costco wants us to shop. Every day I see an ad's going to be arriving. I get the U.S. Postal Service's informed email of what's coming into your mailbox that day. So I know what's going to arrive. All right, this is going to be up here. Whoops. Up here. See, I want this down about by the word church on there. So pull out a journal and we'll do this each week. I think that'll go right there. Probably got too much on there is the problem. That'll go there. I'll call her back as soon as I finish. If she doesn't call right back again, which she might. She's probably calling to tell me she's got another Publishers Clearinghouse. And Scott needs to fill it in for her. Because she'll share it with us if she wins. Bless her heart. I've tried to tell her that I do a live show on Wednesdays, but she doesn't remember. She can't remember. So I will call her back. All right. Hopefully that's going to stick. That's a cool looking stamp or whatever that is. That's cool. And Angie says she's going to cover up and take a nap. And you know what? I forgot to put this underneath here. Can I get this up real quick? Can I get this sticker off, Dee Dee? All these stickers are cool, but... Oh, this one's working. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Put this down here. And I want this to come up. Hopefully everything will stick down. If not, I'll be adding more glue. All right, we've got some butterflies and that bee I want to add. I could put a quote or something down here by this lady. Oh, and I've got the queen. We got to put the queen on here. We'll stick her right there with some of this Scotch Quick Dry. And then I've got these butterflies here. I wanted to put one up here. So I didn't do real good about leaving the white space, really. I'll have to strive to do better. Oh, these are very frustrating. And Angie left for nap time. Now the bee, I don't remember if it has adhesive on the back or if I'll have to add adhesive. We'll find out here in a minute. Oh my word. And I have a bunch of these myself that I ordered because I thought they looked so cool. I had no unearthly idea that they were this difficult to get the backs off. But once you get the back off, they're pretty awesome looking. Maybe if I try to pull the sticker from the front of it. Maybe that's the key. Oh, yeah, I think if you pull away from the plastic, it works better. And then if you leave it adhered part to the plastic and then stick it down, it won't curl up and stick to itself. Learning something new every day. And I just love butterflies. I think that's what I have the most stickers of anything. I could actually put this butterfly down here by her. But then there's this open space. Maybe the bee will go right there. So pull from the front. Maybe. One more difficult sticker and then I'll be done with it. With this difficult stickers. Knock on wood. So next week we'll do another page in here and it will be orange themed. Oh, I like that. And I might, after this glue is all dried, I might come back in and do some doodle work. And maybe I'll find a quote or something to add to the page. I want to stick this bee on here. And like I said, I'm not sure if it has adhesive. I think it's just a temporary dot. So I'll have to glue this. I'm going to glue it right there because I think it looks cool there. Should I use this or glossy? This is supposed to do it all. We'll see. This is Scotch Quick Dry. So what do y'all think? A quote maybe is needed? All this needs to go to the kitchen and be cleaned. There's a trick to the back of those plastic backed stickers, or are you talking about the bee? And maybe we can figure it out before I have to use them again. All right. I'll put some warm water on this and clean it up. All right, so we did an owl today. It goes to the kitchen. I think I can flip this. No, I'll do this here. So here's my page. Oh, you know what we need on here is the date. Where's my date stamp? Here we go. Let's see. It's been a while since I used this, so I got to figure out how to change the month. We didn't use it at all in September. So let's switch it to September. And it is still 2022. What's the day on? September 14th? No, today is the 28th. So this needs to go Is that the 28th? Yes. So I'll just stick that right here. Right there. I got the date on it. and we made the little owl. And if you print it off smaller, you can still make a little owl, but it'll be tiny and fiddly. Just an FYI. If I put the spool behind, I can get them to stand up together. There we go. It's like a little junior guy. Bye-bye, everybody. And thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me. We did good. We got that done in an hour and a half-ish. And I hope everybody will share their owls and their pages in Aunt Beck's Creations if you're in there, or in Phibbsville, or in the Art of the Streams, or anywhere like that, or Instagram. And thank you, Barbara, for the lovely journal. And we will fill it up. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.